الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, today is the 29th of the Hijjah 1445 and it is the 5th of July 2024, and we are coming to a new set of 2 episodes related to Tawheed and Shirk. And we are going, inshallah, discussing it for those people who want to follow from the Qawa'id al-Arba'a, 4 principles that Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad bin Wahab had written. And we're going to go, inshallah, with those Qawa'id to explain what is so important. Ikhwani, this Qawa'id al-Arba'a and also al-Usul al-Thalatha and others, they're all of them, they are in the book of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad Wahab, called the Kitab al-Tawheed. And the Muhammad Wahab, rahimahullah, he was focusing upon the important thing that you need to understand regarding Tawheed and regarding Shirk. For verily, it's supposed to be the focus of the Muslims and also the focus of the Da'iyah. When he was to start to make da'wah, it's not correct to go and start about prayer and zakah, even though they are important. Or to start to talking about, for example, truthfulness and lying, which is as well very important. Or to talk about heart softening, which is also important. But if those things, they're not going to be based upon a correct principle, qa'idah, then all of those are not going to be accepted. And the qa'idah here is that to know your tawheed. That's why we have at-tawheedu awwalan ya du'at al-Islam. Tawheed is first, comes first. All callers to Islam. This is Da'watul Anbiya, the call of the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He had never said in the Quran that I have sent the prophet just to make sure that the people are going to be truthful, or to make the people that the people that are not going to be lying. No, those are sins. To make sure that they believe in the Almighty. Because when you believe the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will be believing that He is the one who deserves to be worshipped, and you believe that He is always watching you, then all the other acts will come in and blend in and will be accepted. And unfortunately, that some people believe that we have passed that point. Dua, da'wah, tawheed, and shirk. We need to focus upon something which is important. For example, about the election, like yesterday. We have to focus upon that more than we focus upon the tawheed. I will say, and I claim what I'm saying, and I believe in what I'm saying. If those dua, so-called dua, had focused on correcting the tawheed of the people and the ummah, and spend so much time on it, like there's so much time they spend upon other things like calling them for politics and also the things of the candidate being a candidate and votes and all of that, I'm sure the ummah will be in good. But because these dua, they don't focus upon this issue, and they believe that this issue is secondary. Well, some of them, he said irrelevant. People are muwahideen. What are you talking about? His name is Abdullah. His name is Fatima. Why should we call him Tawheed when his name is Abdullah and Fatima and Aisha and Amatullah? That's how they believe. And I've heard with my own ears one of those people who are supposed to be the head of the such and such hizb. And he said, what is Tawheed? Tawheed is Allah al-Khaliq, Allah al-Raziq. Allah is the provider, Allah is the creator, Allah is the owner of the heavens and earth. He didn't know that Abu Jahl before him, he knew this, but he was a mushrik. He didn't know that Abu Lahab, he was before him, knew this, and he was a kafir. He didn't know that the Prophet ﷺ, whom he fought in his battles, those who believe 100% that Allah is the owner of the universe, Allah is the real God. But they have taken with him other gods and intercessors. That's why the Prophet ﷺ fought them, and this is where the 4 principles rotate around. Muhammad Wahab rahimahullah, in his era, the time he lived, there were lots of grave worshippers and shrines. And we believe that the first shirk that took place, it was from the graveyards, from the graves, which is Wad wa Sawa' wa Yaghouth wa Ya'uq wa Nasr, who were very righteous people, as being said by Abdullah ibn Abbas, the righteous people at the time of the people of Nuh alayhi salam. And those people, when they died, Shaitan came to the ones who were looking up to these people that you need to focus upon them and remember them. So the best thing is graveyard. So they want to go to the graveyard and do things there, and and think and contemplate. Then he said another step. It's better for you to remember them 24/7. Why don't you make a miniature statue, just a small one, put it in your house. So in the graveyard, you remember them. When you look at their graves in the house, when you look at their miniature statues, then you will remember them as well. So they did that. So now they're not really worshiping them. They just want to remember those people. So the graveyard and then the idol and the statues. Then later on, when this generation had gone, a different generation came, and there is no link, there is no history, it's been recorded. Shaitan's still immortal. So he said to them, "For verily, your forefathers used to worship them." That's how they worship them. And also, knowledge had disappeared. نسخ العلم. When you have no knowledge and you have people who are ignorant, ready to take any recipe, ready to go and worship whatever the thing that tell them that your forefathers, this is you could say the clue or the catch of the shaitan that he had used in order to tempt these people, the new generation, to follow their forefathers' steps. Because all of the people always tend to follow the ones who are before them. So that's why when the prophets, they come to ask these people, why do you worship other than God? He said, وَجَدْنَا آبَاءَنَا عَلَى أُمَّةٍ. We have seen our forefathers that they used to be doing the same things. Are we doing the same thing? This is how they justify. So the lingering around the grave and the graveyard, this is where we find that, takes up from there. So those who are grave worshippers, Kwani, they are believers that the Tawheed, is Allah is Khaliq and Raziq. And if you tell them the Tawheed is to direct your ibadah to Allah, they call you the mushrik. And I know one of our friends or Sheikh, he was praying behind a Sufi person, he was a Sufi, and he was making a dua in Ramadan. And it was the first and the last night of Ramadan he prayed there. Because he had told the people to take over. Because this guy, you don't know what he's talking about. Because he was leading in an Arab country. They don't know what he was saying. So he was saying in Arabic, Allahumma inna na'udhuka min awhal al-tawheed. Oh Lord, we seek refuge in you from this quagmire of Tawheed. It's called a quagmire. Swamp of Tawheed. The Tawheed of Tawheed of ours. We seek refuge in Allah and those Tawheed of theirs. Which is that you should not go to the graveyards, you should not go to Rifa'i and Badawi and all of those people who they hook upon. Subhanallah. Imam Muhammad al-Wahhab, he started his booklet, which is Al-Qawa'id al-Arba'a, by making a supplication to the student of knowledge. Allahumma ij'alhu mubarakan aynama kunt. Or aynama kan. Oh Lord, make him to be barakah, wherever he is. And you are with barakah everywhere. Then your barakah is not just a barakah of that your presence, no, your barakah of your ilm, your barakah of your guidance, your barakah of your da'wah. Alu Abi Bakr, the family of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, him and his daughters and his sons, the family, they had a barakah. And when the Prophet ﷺ had traveled, him and some of his family and Abu Bakr with him, and Aisha along with him as well, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she had lost the necklace has been given to her by her sister, and because of that the camp had to stay and to go and look for that necklace. And then when they left, so basically they ran out of water. When they ran out of water, they didn't know what to do. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said the verse regarding the dry ablution, tayammum, and it came because of the loss of the necklace. So the people came to Abu Bakr and he said, ما هذه بأول بركتكم يا أهل أبي بكر. This is not the first time we taste the barakah of yours, you family of Abu Bakr. That means because of you, Allah gave us the verse of the tayammum through ablution, subhanAllah. Barakah. So here when you find the person, you like him to come to visit you. Because his barakah is nice. Because he utters words that will remind you of the hereafter. It reminds you to get closer to Allah. Whereas the chatterboxes, those people will all the time take you away from the deen and put you in the dunya. So the barakah is the person of knowledge. Wherever he goes, he spreads knowledge. He sits down, people ask him. He gets ill. The nurses, the men nurses, they will ask him, Sheikh. I remember Sheikh Izzat Khabar, rahimahullah, when he got ill, He stayed in the hospital more than a month. Okay, in more than a month. And the hospital is actually, it's not a private one. It was a hospital, which is a governmental one, free. So he stayed for a month there before, and there was treatment for the cancer, all of this. And I remember he was, at that time for the month, the Mufti Sahab for the whole of the hospital. The Mufti Sahab. The ones who visit him the most are actually the doctors and the nurses, not the people. Because of his knowledge, because of his barakah of his knowledge. Wallahi, I was there. They come to him and I'm there, Sheikh, I'm going to ask you. They said, Abu Suhaib. I said, no, you are my Sheikh. Answer the question. Subhanallah. And he answers from what he had learned from Sheikh al-Albani, rahimahullah. He used to have 4 wives, mashallah. And every time he goes out, one of his wives, she will write for him the hadith or the benefit that she had taken from the books of Sheikh al-Albani. And she writes it for him like a card, and he puts it in his pocket, and I've seen it. And he uses that card for the whole of the day to look at it, memorize it, see it, convey it, until he memorized so many cards. What a wife. What a wife. The wife she would put in your pocket, not such a card like this, but a list of your shopping. What shopping you're going to have. True or not? A list of the shopping. You're going to have a card which reminds you. So he had one of his wives, mashallah, she was a graduate from the University of Faculty of Sharia, law, Deen, and she was giving him that card. He used to put it in his pocket. Then he says, Al-Imam rahimahullah, وَأَنْ يَجْعَلَكَ مِمَّنْ إِذَا أُعْطِيَ شَكَرًا. And Allah makes you from those people whom, if he's being granted with something from Allah, to be gratitude, to show your gratitude. You see, if you don't express your gratitude to the Almighty, if Allah had blessed you with something, then this is one of the ways to deny the favors of Allah. And if you express your gratitude to Allah for a favor Allah had given you, Allah will give you more. وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you thank Allah, will give you more. Subhanallah. So the believer is always, when there is a ni'mah comes to him, he prostrates. Prostration of shukr. Thankfulness to Allah that Allah granted him this. The other person will be jumping up and down, and then he would take a shot of whatever, of those alcoholic things. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. But you, as a believer, say, Alhamdulillah. Allahumma alhamdulillah. Ahmaduka ya Rabb. Ni'mah you blessed me with. Then he said, وَقَالْ وَإِذَا ابْتُلِيَ صَبَرْ. And if he's to be struck with a calamity, then he will be patient. He will not be in despair from the mercy of Allah. And he will not go and commit suicide like other people. So, that's it, I've had it. Every time I go, I'm a disaster. I am unfortunate. If there's anybody who is unfortunate in the whole world, it's me. So he takes off his life. And for them, these people, they just do it. Because they're in despair for the mercy of Allah. But the believer, as the Prophet of Allah, he said, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. Amazing, remarkable is the case of the believer. إِذَا أَصَبَتْهُ سَرَّةٌ. If he is in prosperity, شَكَرْ. He will express his gratitude. فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. And it will be good for him. وَإِنْ أَصَبَتْهُ ضَرَّةٌ. If adversity had befallen him, he would be showing patience, and he will endure it patiently, and it will be good for him. وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. Listen to this. And this is only exclusively for the believer. Nobody else. So he started with amazing, remarkable, the case of the believer, and he ended that it's only for the believer. Because the person who is not a disbeliever, his belief is wavering, is really down. This person, if he's in prosperity, he thinks it's from his own muscles. It's not Allah to do with it. He's the one who had gained it. Okay? And he does not thank to Allah Azza wa Jal. But actually, what happens? He goes to the pub, will do something haram. And if he's been afforded adversity, as I said, he will be, and let's say that he was ill, he doesn't understand why he's ill. And when he comes out of illness, he thinks because of the skillfulness of this doctor of his. So it reminds me of an animal. You tie him up, you untie him, he doesn't know why he's been tied up. Does the animal know why he's been tied up? He doesn't know. Those people, the same thing. They don't know why they got ill. Allah is giving them a reminder. Look how weak you are. You could be the richest person in the world, but still your money cannot cure you because you are weak. A little thing had affected you. You can't even see it with your own eyes. It's called virus. You can't even see it. Had affected you, how weak you are. That's all of those are reminders. So the believer, he will acknowledge. And then the third thing he said, وَإِذَا أَذْنَبَ اسْتَغْفَرَ. And as soon as he commits a sin, he will seek forgiveness. And then he says, هَؤُلَاءِ الثَّلَاث. Those are the three things. عُنْوَانُ السَّعَادَةِ. They are the title of Sa'ada, happiness. So if you are to be Sa'id, it's either the three things. Either you are in prosperity, being given something, granted from Allah blessings, or you are in adversity, calamity, so you are in crisis, or you are a sinner. One of the three. So if you are in a prosperity, Allah granted you blessings, express your gratitude. If you are in adversity, calamity, be patient. And if you are sinful, it's the only third one, then seek forgiveness from Allah. And if you've got the three, you've got happiness. Prophet ﷺ, he said, Allah said, Hadith Qudsi, that my slave had committed a sin. أذنب عبدي ذنبا. قال ربي أذنبت ذنبا فاغفر لي. Oh Lord, I have committed a sin. Forgive for me. قال Allah responded, لقد علم عبدي أن له ربا يغفر الذنب ويأخذ به. My slave, he had acknowledged that he has a Lord, which he who, that is, would forgive the sin and also punishes for the sin. Then after a while, he committed the sin, whether it's a different sin or the same sin. Then he said, oh Lord, forgive for me. He never given up. So the Lord replied, my slave had committed a sin. And he acknowledged that he has a Lord who he punishes for the sin and forgives the sin. After a while, he did the sin 3 times. Another narration, maybe 4 times. After that, 3 times or 4 times, Allah would say, اعمل ما شئت فقد غفرت لك. Do what you like. I've forgiven for you. That means do what you like as long as you acknowledge you have a Lord who would forgive for the sin and punishes for the sin, and you seek forgiveness, you could do what you like. Do you understand that? As long as you seek forgiveness, do what you like. But this is not an open check. This is not a pre-plan for a crime. You pre-plan for the crime? I call you how the interpretation of such a hadith can be seen through the eyes of the Sufis, which is a wrong interpretation. One of them is called Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi is the one who's been made to be a disbeliever, but he's got some words that can catch and fish those who are not immune against the Sufism. One of his words, and he says that he has a sheikh. He said, "Ajibtu li shaykhi." I'm amazed. How good is my sheikh? How can he repent to Allah? Look how he repents to Allah. That the waiter comes in while we are in a group. Waiter is the one who serves the alcohol. Nadim, it's called in Arabic. He gives the alcohol. So he's got the cups of alcohol. My sheikh doesn't have any sort of hint or intention to drink from it. The waiter's going around, those people who are around inside. And he is not even thinking to take a cup. He's not pre-planning it. As soon as the waiter comes to him, he snatches the cup, drinks it, and then he says, Astaghfirullah. Allahumma aghfir li ya Rabb. Did you understand that? Then the waiter goes, my sheikh never thinks again to have another cup. Never hints to him as an intention. As soon as the waiter comes in for the second round, snatches the cup again, drinks. Astaghfirullah. This is Akhwani, this is playing around with the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has never been interpreted in this way. That is to pre-plan your sin. You never know that you're going to be having the time anyway to repent to Allah. You might die while you are doing the sin. So now we're coming to Imam Muhammad al-Wahhab when he says, "I'lam arshadak Allah." Know for a fact, may Allah guide you. And al-Hanifiyya millata Ibrahim. Hanifiyya is to tilk away from the shirk. This is the religion of Ibrahim. And of course, it's the religion of all the prophets that preceded Ibrahim, like Hud, like Yunus, like Nuh, like Adam. All of them, they are upon Hanifa Muslima. وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Our father, the father of the prophets, they call him Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because after Ibrahim, all the prophets belong to whom? To Ibrahim. Before Ibrahim, they're not linked to Ibrahim. So Nuh, they call him Abu al-Bashar, the father of what? Humanity. Because everybody perished except the ones on the ark. From him, Okay, emerged everybody. Okay, so now we have Ibrahim alayhi salam. قال ملة إبراهيم أن تعبد الله, to worship Allah. قال مخلصا له الدين, in sincerity to Allah عز وجل. And then he says, قال فإذا عرفت أن الله قد خلقك لعبادته, if you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you for his worship, when he said وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون, I created mankind and jinn for no purpose except to worship me. There's no other religion that would set for you the purpose of creation except for Islam. Islam bluntly, clearly, it tells you why, what is the purpose of you are existing. What is the purpose of your life? Let me just ask for the door not to be open. Just slightly. SubhanAllah, there's no wind, there's no current. Have you noticed? It is very humid today. It was really hot in the afternoon. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's doctor. Should have done that. The brothers didn't really know that there's a window there. You need a doctor to come here and solve the matter. Right, Jazakallah khair. So, you need to know that this ibadah, the worship that Allah had created us for, to worship him, it has to have Tawheed. Just like your salah has to have what? Wudu. Salah cannot be valid without a wudu. Also, ibadah, worship, cannot be valid without Tawheed. Because one of the things that would nullify your ibadah is the opposite of Tawheed, which is shirk. And that is polytheism. So this shirk is like a person who's on wudu and then he passed wind. His wudu is what? It's finished. So this person who's monotheistic, he made shirk, that he's polluted and nullified his tawheed. So it is very important to know what makes your ibadah proper ibadah and what makes your ibadah is null, is void. You have to know tawheed and you have to know the opposite of tawheed, the shirk. So if you knew this, then you will know how to avoid the shirk and have to perfect your tawheed or perfect your tawheed. Allah Azza wa Jal, he says, إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به. Allah does not forgive any person who commits shirk with him. ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. And he would forgive anything which is below the shirk to whosoever he wishes. Why? To whosoever he wishes. As long as you are a believer, you should be forgiven, yes. But you'll be forgiven, could be from the first instant or maybe later on. But you'll be forgiven. So if you have done other than the shirk, you are under the will of Allah's forgiveness. Either will forgive you straight away, no punishment, because you haven't done shirk. Or Allah Azza wa Jal would punish you, and then after that, you will be forgiven. You'll have intercession and take you out of the fire. Because of what? Because of your tawheed. So that's why it's important to get your tawheed right. That tawheed can save you on the first day of the judgment straight away to go to Jannah. It's important, ya ikhwani. Otherwise, you are doomed. So, we can say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ. Prophet ﷺ, he said, in a hadith, Qudsi. Qudsi means Allah spoken it, said it, but it's not like Quran. قال, and this was a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he had said, يَبْنَ Adam, O son of Adam, لو لقيتني بقراب الدنيا خطايا لا تشرك بي لقيتك بقرابها مغفرة. If you have come to me with the earth filled with all types of sins, as much as the earth can take, all types of sins you have embarked upon, except for what? Shirk. But you met me, no shirk. I will meet you with the same earth filled with forgiveness. To equalize that. Alas, forgiven. As long as you don't shirk. But if you have met Allah, even with all of the hasanat, all the good deeds, yet you met him with the shirk, then Allah Azza wa Jal will punish you for that shirk. Shirk, ikhwani, is major and minor. And it could be hidden, and it could be as well apparent. But the most important that we know, it is akbar or asghar. Akbar, it could be hidden, it could be seen. And also asghar could be hidden, could be seen. So the akbar, what is it? The akbar is the one which is not asghar. How about this? Okay, the akbar, which is not asghar. So what I need to know, what is then the difference? Akbar is related to the aqidah. And the asghar, which is not the akbar. The aqidah, which is in the heart. If a person said, by my father, I swear by my father that I have done such and such. And this is shirk in his tongue. If he meant his father to be equal to Allah or greater than Allah, then he is making major shirk. If he is not, which is the case of the most of the time, then it is minor shirk. Person who is putting a talisman, okay, or a charm, and is saying that this will push away the evil of the evil eye, for example, charm. If he believes that charm by itself, through its power, because it's made of special beads, let's say, blue and all of that, it's got some eyes there to encounter the laser light of the evil eye. So if he thinks that is by itself is going to protect him beside Allah, that's a major shirk. But if he believes the one who harms and the one who benefits is Allah, but this is one of the ways and the reasons to help, it's one of the tools to be taken, then he is making minor shirk. Copper bracelet, you've seen them. They put it for the hand on the wrist for the sake of arthritis. You've seen them, must have seen them. Okay, I don't know who had invented this and who is the person who's going to be fool enough to believe in such a thing. If you're a doctor, you will know this is nonsense. It doesn't work. But you'll find, unfortunately, people who are engineers, and even with beards. I've seen one which, wallahi, his brother come to the masjid, and he came with a copper. But he's not a doctor, he's an engineer. So I looked at his hand, what is this? He says to me, I've got, some arthritis in my hands. Who said that to you and diagnosed that this arthritis can be helped with this bracelet? Tell me which doctor, I want to know. So he says, no, doctor, it's people tell me and say to me. I said, but this is called shirk asghar, because this is something to do with what you believe, that this copper is a way that Allah made it a reason for healing, which is not medically wise. Where does it come? Where does it come from? It's like those people who are believing in omens. They used to say to the bird, fly. If you flew to the left, they call off the journey. Something disaster is going to take place. If you flew to the right, inshallah, it will be good. So what has that got to do with the bird flying to the left or flying to the right to affect your fate? Same thing with this one. Where is it linked medically wise? It's going to affect your hands, except what is in your brains. He said, well, no, it helps me. I felt it. SubhanAllah. Some people, they believe in that because he took it off, alhamdulillah. But you see, look at how the person can be mindly affected. If he believes in something, it will affect him. You know the laser light, which is the red one pointer. Back in the 1992, 1993, this what came out. People didn't know about it. One of the brothers, he saw it. And he took it from a brother and in my country, in Jordan, where people they don't know anything about it. And imagine now in the desert with the tents or all this, if you put that laser light, because it doesn't really, they think it's jinn. I'll tell you what, even Sheikh Muhammad Musa Nasr, he thought it was a jinn. May Allah have mercy upon him. So this is being taken and by this person who's naughty, and he started scaring people to go to the Fajr prayer. If you don't really go to the Fajr prayer, you might see that. And they ended up praying in the masjid. I know this by Allah. Maybe this person is going to be listening to my talk here, but he doesn't know English. You know him, Dr. Farasid, Dr. Yusuf, the one we said. So, he used to have a shop, and he used to have it underneath a table, and he lights it up onto a lamppost. So some people thought, it's electrical thing, moving by electric. It's a jinn. I think there's a treasure underneath that lamppost. People, they're believing with it. Now, one of the brothers who is, mashallah, upon the Salafiyya and everything, and he's as old as us, you know, so he was going to that lamppost, and that guy, which is a naughty, lit that light, which is a laser one. He went on his hand, and he took his hand off. After a month of harassment, I said to him, we have to disclose this thing, you know, I have to tell them, the brothers. So we gathered them, including that person who had what? This thing. So I said to him, what did you see? He said, I was, going to where the light comes in. And then when I put my hand, it came to my hand. What did you feel? He said, I felt like a sudden pain. It reminded me of this copper bracelet. Wallahi, he said like this, by Allah. He said, I felt a bit of pain. So was it hot or cold? I said to him, pain, hot. I'm holding myself from laughing. He said, hot or cold? He said, I don't know, I can't describe it, he said. He says, mine he's not lying. He's not lying. It's what he felt. After we told him what it is, I mean, he just went, chasing up that guy who wanted to beat him up. Because he just seen how fool he was. And all these words that he said, what are you talking about? It's a lie. He showed it to them. But as I said, see this copper? He felt it. Just like that guy, he felt that laser light. And there's nothing there. One of them, I remember he said, he went to my shoulder. And then what happened? It went to my neck. And what happened? I think it's a jinn talking to me now. I said, MashaAllah. Wallahi, he's saying, jinn talking to me. Okay, what did he say to you? People hallucinated. The man exaggerated as well on top of it. But this is what happened, Ikhwan. Coming back to this. Major shirk, minor shirk. Avoid the major shirk and also avoid the minor shirk. The minor shirk, 100%, with the consensus of all scholars, will not take you outside the fold of Islam. But is it under the will of the forgiveness that we talked about? That's in question. Scholars had differed. They said the minor shirk still can be forgiven from the first time. Sheikh Salman said, no, you'll be punished for it. Yes, it will not take you outside the fold of Islam. Yes, it will not throw you in the eternal hellfire, but you'll be punished from it. Because inna Allah la yaghfiru wa yushraka bih. He didn't say major or minor. Allah does not forgive for any person who commits shirk. Any shirk. Major, that needs to renew Islam because he came out of the fold of Islam. A person who's rotating around a grave, and he says that grave is the one who's going to be benefiting and he's going to be what? Harming. That's shirk akbar. Wal iyadu billah. Let's go to the principle 1. And I was said and told to finish by 8:30. So I started 35 past. Can I please extend another 10 minutes? I have to take the permission now. Otherwise I'll be shot down. The qaida, number 1. Qaida, ikhwani, the principle means the qaida of billah. Okay? Qaida number 1. That is, you should know that the kuffar whom the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had fought them, these kuffar used to believe that Allah is the creator. Allah is the sustainer. Allah is the one who runs the universe. Yet, all of that belief did not make them to enter Islam. That belief did not make the Prophet to stop to fight them. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in the Quran to affirm such a principle, قُلْ, say to them, O Muhammad, مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, who provides you from the heavens and earth? أَمَّنْ يَمْلِكُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ, who's in control of your hearing and your seeing? وَمَنْ يُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ, and who can bring the live from the dead? وَيُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ, and He brings the dead from the live. وَمَنْ يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ, who runs the affair? فَسَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ, they will say Allah. Who is they? People of Quraysh. Time of the Prophet, the idolaters, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, all of those. Uqba ibn Mu'ayt, Al-Walid ibn Umayyah, all of those kuffar mighty, they used to say this. فَقُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ, say to them then, shouldn't you fear Allah Azza wa Jal? Fear Allah. If you had believed Allah is the sustainer, the creator, the one who runs the affair, why are you doing this? So this is to show you, Akhwani, that the mushrikun, they were monotheistic in terms of what? Lordship. Muwahidu, you don't know the Lord. So where is the shirk coming from here? Come to it. Second principle. That is, they say, ما دعوناهم. We did not call upon them. We did not direct our prayer towards them, except al-qurbah. We want to get closer to Allah. والشفاعة. To take them as intercessors to Allah. As for the qurbah, the proof for that, وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. And those who had taken beside Allah, awliya, companions, friends, people who are looked up to them. مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ. We don't worship them. إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفًا. Except that they will make us closer to Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَحْكُمُ بَيْنَهُمْ فِيمَا هُمْ فِيهِ يَخْتَلِفُونَ. Allah will, on the day of resurrection, will arbitrate and judge in what they used to differ. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي مَنْ هُوَ كَاذِبٌ كَفَّارٌ. Allah, He will not guide those who are liars and deniers. So that's the proof for getting closer. Second proof for their intercession, وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And they worship beside Allah, مَا لَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُم. Something which does not benefit them, nor it harms them. وَيَقُولُونَ. And they will say about these idols, هَؤُلَاءِ شُفَعَاؤُنَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Those are the ones who are intercessors. We take them as to intercede. Intercede, that means, oh, Mr. Such and such, intercede for us so that Allah will forgive us our sin, that Allah Azza wa Jalla will give us such and such. And Ikhwani, intercession is of two types. Intercession which is not going to be granted, and intercession which will be granted. The intercession which is denied, the one which is not going to be granted, which is the one you ask that intercession from other than Allah in something no one can be doing it except for Allah. Because you could ask somebody to intercede for you regarding work. Maybe he knows the boss. Go intercede for me that he might give you the job. But to him to ask him, can I intercede for you, brother, that you forgive my sins? Nobody can forgive the sins except for Allah. He's not going to forgive his sins. So we have this Christian, they have the confession day. So who's going to forgive them? Who's that? The priest. They're taking the priest as a god. There's no such thing that we have a priesthood here in our Islam, that we just go and confess to him, and then he will say to us, go ahead, no problem, you're forgiven. We don't have that. So this is granted by other than Allah. This something granted by other than Allah, and only Allah is capable of doing it. This intercession is denied. It doesn't exist. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, anfiqu mimma razaqnakum. Spend from what we have provided you with. Min qabli an ya'tiya yawm, before the day comes in. What's the day? Day of resurrection. La bay'un fi. There is no transaction, no trade. Wala khulla, and there is no friendship. Wala shafa'a, no intercession. Wal kafiruna humul zalimun. And the disbelievers are the ones who are the oppressors. By Allah, the shafa'ah, to be accepted, it has to fulfill two conditions. And this is the shafa'ah, which we call it the one which is to be asked by Allah Azza wa Jal. Why do we have to have shafa'ah on the day of resurrection? Why just Allah Azza wa Jal takes out who He wishes from the hellfire and puts him in paradise? There is a reason for that. The reason is to honor that person who's being given the intercession. Imagine Allah is giving you the go-ahead to intercede, so the people look at you, mashallah, he's close to Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal giving him the honor to intercede. He is the messenger of the king to intercede before Almighty on your behalf. SubhanAllah. So this is for honoring that person. And also, it is to please that person whom the intercession is going to go to. So if you have somebody to intercede for you, you're going to be happy. And all the believers will intercede. Not just the angels, not just the prophets, not just the martyrs. All believers will intercede. But the intercession varies in terms of number of wise and strength wise. Some of the intercession, which will be bigger numbers, like the intercession of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, is for all the ones who ordain major sins in his ummah. Whereas the shaheed only intercedes for 70 of his relatives. Whereas the normal believer, he might intercede for 1 or 2 or 3. Angels, Allahu A'lam, the biggest intercession is whom? The Almighty for himself. When he says, everybody had interceded. angels, prophets, martyrs, and believers, no intercession had been left except mine. And he says, وَبِعِزَّتِي وَجَلَالِي. He makes an oath by his own izzah, might, jalal, honor. لَأُخْرِجَنَّ مِنَ النَّارِ مَنْ لَمْ يَعْمَلْ خَيْرًا قَطْ. I will bring out from the hellfire people who never done good life in their life. They never done good in their life. فَيَقْبِضُ قَبْضَهُ. He will grab a grab from the hellfire, bring them out. And they were turned into charcoals, burned completely. This intercession, no one can do it except for Allah. No one. Those intercession is to be like for the people still in the fire. You could see them rotate, but those had burnt completely. And number two, that they have done no good in their life, except for Tawheed. The Tawheed is being correct, but no good. They were not helpful to people. They were nothing. But they were believers in Allah. Those are, they're going to be with the intercession of the Almighty. عُتَقَاءُ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. They've been called Atiq. They've been set free from the hellfire. Those are the ones who will be, even the people of Jannah will know them. عُتَقَاء أَهْلِ النَّارِ. Allah Azza wa Jal had saved them. So this intercession, ya ikhwani, that Allah Azza wa Jal will accept is two conditions. Number one, the condition is that this is intercession with the permission of Allah. No intercession will take من ذا الذي يشفع إلا بإذنه. Who's going to intercede without his permission? It has to be with his permission. Number two, that the person whom you're going to intercede for, Allah is pleased with him. He's from the monotheistic. Muwahid. You can't intercede to someone. You say, oh, is it okay? You can't intercede to someone who's a kafir. Prophet of Allah wanted to intercede to his uncle. He can't. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he can't intercede for his father because he's a kafir. You only intercede on someone whom Allah is pleased. I mean, Allah is saying that he's monotheistic. But if he's not monotheistic, he's going to be in hell, regardless of whom you are. The Prophet ﷺ is given partial intercession regarding his uncle Abu Talib for three reasons. Reason number one, because he's the uncle of the Prophet. Reason number two, which is as well a very good reason, and that is he helped the Muslims. He protected the Prophet ﷺ. He's got some sort of hand to be honored on top of the people. Number three, the Prophet ﷺ is to be honored with this intercession. So it's not just uncle. Allah wants to distinguish the Prophet from all the other prophets. That his intercession was partially accepted. He was not taken from the hellfire completely, but he was taken from the deep fire to the shallow fire. And that's why Al-Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet, who is a Sahabi companion, died upon Islam and is in Jannah. He asked the Prophet of Allah, did you benefit your uncle? He's asking his nephew, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did you benefit your uncle? He means Abu Talib. He said, yes. Alhamdulillah. With my supplication, he had been lifted from the bottom of the fire to the shallow fire. So that's the benefit, but he's still there forever. And what is the shallow fire? Two pieces of charcoals underneath your feet, burning to such an extent that your brain are boiling out from them continuously. That's the minimum punishment in the hellfire. Right, by this, we'll give you now the time for answers for 10 minutes, inshallah. And I think it will be like this. I don't know, more inviting, but more kebab, Sheikh Farasat. More kebab, not just snacks. They'll come بإذن الله. طيب, inshallah, قاعدة الثالثة. First principle will, and fourth principle will be the second class, inshallah. تفضل يا Dr. Farasat. He was first before you.
When the mushrikeen would use their idols or rightful dead to intercede with them in front of Allah, was that in confession that the dead righteous person would intercede on the day of judgment, or was that intercession for some worldly leader?
I didn't understand the question, Dr. Farasat. So, so the mushrik is calling upon Wud wa Suwa' wa Yaghuth wa Ya'uq for intercession. They are dead already. Yes.
Is that intercession for the intercession on the day of judgment, bring them to Jannah, or is
For both. For both. I understood you now. So the kafir's intercession, when he's asking those people, is it for what? It's for both. Number one, he's thinking, is Allah going to give him prosperity in this dunya? And number two, Allah is going to forgive him because he said to make us closer to Allah in the hereafter. And also, so that they're believers. They believe that there is a day of resurrection, ya ikhwani. Those people, they believe that there is, and that's why the intercession, what for, ikhwani? Dunya and akhir. Because if they don't believe in the akhirah, there's no need for them to intercede for Allah Azza wa Jal for the akhirah, the second life. But how they believe in the akhirah, that's something different. Jazakallahu khair. Good question. Number two. Fadal. Bismillah. Fadal, yes. No.
A person, they might be amongst their friends or something, and they say something related to knowledge, and they're scared at that time. They might be showing off. How do they protect themselves from something like this?
From showing off? Khwani, when you give something to the sake of Allah, remember the shaitan is there all the time to ruin your charity or your help or your good deed that you want to do. But don't get into the stage of waswasa. Waswasa is whispering from the shaitan that he will stop you from making the good deed, making you to believe that you're doing it not for the sake of Allah. Do you understand that? So when you're doing something, it's for the sake of Allah. So the shaitan said to you, hang on, or you think, oh, maybe I'm trying to show off. Well, you're not showing off, you're giving it for the sake of Allah. You're taking this away. So it's better off for you not to give it. Keep that message of the shaitan. Don't even look at it. Don't open even that WhatsApp message of his. All right? Let him keep sending. After a while, he will look for another customer. Because he's after for you to go what? To stop what you're doing in a number of ways. You're going to visit a sick person. While you're going there, an idea comes to you. Oh, on the way there's a poor person. It's better for you to go and give him some money. Okay, so you change your mind now. First poor and then go to the what? To the sick person. While you're going to the poor, oh, there's somebody who's in need of money, who is in debt, and they might take him to prison. It's better to go and see him. Oh, yes, let me change my route to go there. One after the other. So you go to the last one, he's not there. He's sleeping. The other person, he left. The one who was trying to visit as a sick, he's dead. You didn't do anything. So go to the one that you're doing. And you say, okay, good thoughts. I will go to the poor person. Finish your visit. Then go to the poor person. Oh, the one who's in loan is going to go to prison. I will go visit the person who's in poor and go to the person who's in loan. If you keep doing this, I don't think the shaitan will start sending you any messages anymore. Because he's trying to divert you from what you want to do. Message after a message. So, ikhwani, shaitan can come to you as a sheikh and say to you, fear Allah, you're not doing it for the sake of Allah. Don't let that to stop you from doing the good. It's called waswasa. Okay? So, do what Allah wanted you to do with yourself. It's going to be hard for you to, it's not going to be easy, I should say. It's going to be easy for you to fight the shaitan. But it is possible if you put your hands in the hands of Allah. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. That your shaitan, you believe the shaitan is for you an enemy, take him as an enemy, that means be all the time ready for him. He's an enemy. And he started as an enemy from the beginning. From the beginning, before Adam, he had life into him. Because of the envy. Now, another question, Ikhwani. Tfaddal. After the class, I want to see you.
I do understand competing with each other in the deed and under shirk. Am I doing it to be the person or am I doing it to take Allah?
وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافس. So what are you asking about? Let the ones who are contenders to compete. And what is the thing that is? And Umar. Yeah.
And sometimes you want to maybe beat the other
It's no problem. It's not really actually, it is beating the person, not in terms of you want to show off. Yeah, you understand his question? Basically, that you have seen a person who is hafiz. It made you to compete to make yourself a hafiz. Okay, the reason for you becoming a hafiz is he's a hafiz, but that is not taking you away that your intention is the akhirah, is to please Allah. You want to be like him. So the competition is regarding, I'm going to be better than him so I could be closer to Allah. Not better than him to show him, see, look, I have defeated you. Look, Abu Bakr, I was faster than you. Look, Abu Bakr, I've given more money than you. No. It was the race to be closer to Allah, not the race with each other regarding who is going to be. Do you understand that? Same thing with everything. So you compete regarding the deen, the knowledge. I want to be a scholar like him. I want to be a student like him. I want to be. That's not. وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. Let those be our contenders to make a competition regarding this issue. تنافس في التقرب إلى الله. To get closer to Allah. No problem. And the Shaykh Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, he used to make prizes for those who are memorizing the Quran. Did you know that? So if a person, he had memorized more Quran, he got a prize. So are they fighting for the prize? Who's going to get the number one, the best of the prizes? No. But this is to encourage them. This is to encourage them. So no, we're not diverting this by giving a prize for those who are the best one in the Quran. So they are trying to compete for the sake of Allah, but at the same time, they are having this thing to motivate them more, to get them closer to Allah. Isn't it Allah Azza wa Jal gave us as a motivation to race one another? If they know what is in the first row and what is lies for them in the other hand, they have no option except to draw lots. They would have drawn lots. So you have the competition now. Who is the first? You go to Medina. Come to the Jumu'ah prayer. Would you be able to get the first row? I don't know the first row now. This time is very hard. You don't know where is the first row. Unless in my time, when the wall was the wall which is the wall of Uthman radiallahu anhu, which is after the Dar the Salam, that we used to pray there. What time do you need to come to in order for you to book the first row? Straight away after Fajr. If you left it, it'd be gone. You get the second row, but not the first one. Competition, ikhwan. And that competition was at the time from the Prophet's companion. Allah ibn Mas'ud all the time comes to be first. Once he came and he was the fourth. 3 before him. رابع ثلاثة وما رابع ثلاثة ببعيد. 4 of 3. And the fourth of the 3, inshallah, he will not be far off from the blessings of Allah. Why is he saying this? It's like he's telling himself, Nafsul Lawama, which is telling him off, why are you late? And he's telling himself, well, I'm not late, still 3 in front of him. It's not that much. You understand? He's calming himself because he's enraged with himself. Himself enraged with him. Why are you late? And that's the tanafus, no problem. Now, Wallahu a'lam. Look like for that question. Faddal ya Farid. Oh, this brother took a shahada. Sorry, brother. Well, I could say, when did you take the shahada? Brother, your face looks that you are from Medina graduate. Correct or not? So when I looked at him, mashallah, the Shaykh had come. Wallahi. Allahu Akbar. Look at the face, lit with light. MashaAllah. Through you, Farid? MashaAllah. Allahumma barik. Have you been studying Islam for a long time? Few months. What were you before? Christian. I would like to just to put the camera on you so that people can see you here as well. So the brothers, he's like a graduate from Medina University. Allahumma barik. Inshallah, Allahumma barik. It's amazing. Okay. You took your shahada in Jumu'ah and Shaitan, he's after you. You know that. He wants to get you back. Were you Christian, yes? Yeah, you were Christian. Christian, what type of Christianity? What's that? I don't know them. Never heard of that. Which country you coming from? Which original country you come from? Ghana. So you come from Ghana. Yeah, I don't know that sort of section of the sect of that Christianity. I don't know it. Okay, subhanAllah. So is it different from Church of England? Anglican, is it? I see, subhanAllah. And your parents, do they know about this? Your parents, do they know about this? May Allah make it easy for you. Inshallah, make them all to be. Are they here in this country or in Ghana?
No, they're in this country.
They're in this country. Allahu Akbar. May Allah help you. You stuck with a very good guy there. Inshallah, look after you, Farid. So, what is that, Farid, you want to ask me about? Don't get him to this Hanafi and Shafi. He's still young. Oh. So they are competing with us now. Who's he going to be after? Right. I have to give him some sort of immunization. Okay. Vaccine. Not for COVID-19. No. This is for proper Islam. As you know, that religion of Christianity, as Judaism and also Islam, they do have sects. So, for example, they have Orthodox Christianity, they have Church of England, they have Protestants, they have, Mormons, Rastafarians. I call them Rastafarians as well as Christians as well. So, those are denominations, and each one claims to be the correct one. Always, ya akhi, the correct one is the one who goes to the origin and he follows the disciples of that prophet. So if you are a Christian following those who were close to Isa alayhi salam, give me a name, please. There's not Matthew or John. This Matthew, John, they're not known. The holders of you don't know who's Matthew. You don't know who's John. You don't know who's Luke. Okay, but you know Peter. That's maybe from the close cycles of the disciples of the Prophet Isa. Peter. Butros, we call him in Arabic. So those disciples, they were Muslims. See, they are Muslims because they were following Isa alayhi salams and his religion. The close disciples. The one who had taken Christianity from being monotheistic, his name is Paul. So this is not Christianity, it's called Paulism. All the Christianity denominations are called Paulism. Paul is the liar, is the one who claimed to see a vision while he was in the way to Syria, Damascus, and he's seen a vision that God spoke to him, and he changed the whole creed of the Eastern Church. And he was not accepted. He was being kicked out to the other side of the sea, and he went there where the Greek people, they don't got nothing to do with this Christianity, and he gave it to those Romans and all of that. They accepted and adopted it. But from the eastern side, he is being kicked out because his doctrines has nothing to do with monotheism. And he's the one who had said that we have to accept Jesus, peace be upon him, is the one where he says, God is the salvation for us if you don't believe that he died on the cross for your sins. He came up with all of these things. Yes. And remember, the ignorance prevailed, helped him. And the original books were burnt, helped him. The disciples who were holding to the proper deen, they've been finished. So he's on the other side on his own. He made all his letters, Corinthians letters and all of this. Total different. And you can see the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament's making a human being, they're making the God as a human being. The New Testament's making the human being as a God. Subhanallah. Yeah, it's so confusing. You could see. So he's telling me, your friend Farid here, we don't want you to fall into one of those sects. Even they are Muslims. We're not making takfir upon them. But there are some people maybe getting a bit far away from Islam that you might fall into their hands and they recruit you to be one of their soldiers. You always follow the disciples. Our disciples are the ones who are around Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ones who are calling themselves the Sahaba, companions. We are followers of the companions of the Prophet of Allah. but we don't have a group. We don't have a mufti sab. So all these jama'at, they have, for example, one person to give them the instructions. Yes, dominations. But we don't have any link between us except Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That ties us up. So we are not having to go on, for example, to submit to certain leader, or to go and give him some sort of taxation for him, okay, to pay something like we don't. What connects us here and connects the people as well outside, that they are upon what's so-called the Salafi manhaj. Salafi means the predecessors. We are followers of the predecessors. Whatever the Sahaba do, we'll do with it. And I remind myself and the brothers here, the story which has been said to me by Dawood Burbank. I don't know if Dr. Farasa can help me here. Dawood Burbank is the one who was a book translator. I don't know if you read for him, Dawood Burbank. He's from Birmingham. He died in Hajj, subhanallah, in the state of Ihram, and he was buried in Mecca. So he died as a shaheed. And he was chosen the best of places to be buried in. I was in his house when I asked him, how did you embrace Islam? What captured my attention when he said that when he was a person who's Christian, there's to be a teacher for them who is from the people who worship, like things like cows and, talking about. It could be Hindu, it could be. So he's worshipping idols. He said that we used to make a joke of them. Idolaters. They're worshipping idols. He said, but we were idolaters as well. When we wanted to go to travel, we pray to Saint Christopher. Wanted to do something, pray to such and such saint. They do the same thing. And then he said, as for the Jews, we used to take the mick. We killed your God. Sorry, the Jews used to take the mick of the Christian. We killed your God. Until we had a Muslim teacher, he said. And that Muslim teacher, I thought that his Islam as well is just like an idolatry as well. And I mixed up with him, and I loved his monotheism. He's focused upon the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the supreme, is the God, no worshipping of Muhammad, no. But he started to read about Islam. And then he read about the sects. And now he doesn't know the family who is now accommodating for him, Muslim family. What are they? So I started to search, what are they? So when I knew they are, the people call them Wahhabis. They don't call themselves Wahhabis. Wahhabis? What is Wahhabi? Oh, the ones who link us to the disciples. So I said, I'm in the right clan. And I stuck with them. And I learned from them. Rahimahullah, may Allah mercy for them. So always, Akhi, you look at the ones who go to the origin, not the ones who introduce innovations. To update. Religion doesn't update. There's no such thing we update. No, update, upgrade, one God now, a God and a half. No, it doesn't. We don't upgrade like this. We have only their same deen as the time of Adam, the time of Noah, and all these prophets you believed in. We believe in them, but in a respectful way. We don't believe any prophet who would do such bad things like this in the Bible, the Old Torah, that Musa alayhi salam or Yaqub is wrestling with God. Have you seen? I've heard about this. Wrestling with God, and Yaqub has won the first round. Okay, that's in the Bible. Well, by the way, in front of him is a revert. Yeah, he's a revert in front of me. Oh yeah, who's the revert here except for our brother here, Rashid? Nobody. Right. So revert, he will talk to you as well. So anyway, we believe in the prophets, but an extra prophet which the Christians don't believe, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Isa, he said, the one who comes after me to testify that I am from God, he is from God. And the only religion, the only prophet after the Prophet Isa salam, who made these 2 billions of Muslims, to believe Isa is a prophet, is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the one who made us to believe that Isa is not just a prophet, a mighty prophet, from the 5 distinguished prophets. Isa alayhi salam. Okay, brother. Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah fi. I need to stop because I've exceeded my time. I'm going to be slapped on my hand now. طيب. Any other questions, Ikhwani? Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Let's pray Maghrib, inshallah. Maghrib's not now, is it? It looks Maghrib, doesn't it?
Today's very dark.
We have